The BBC has been hit by yet another celebrity nonce scandal. Veteran newsreader Hugh Edwards has been accused of paying a 17-year-old boy 35 grand over 3 years. If he's got that sort of cash to throw around, BBC salaries really are out of control. 35 grand is a lot of money, even with the cost of living crisis, soaring interest rates and rampant inflation. You could probably still heat a 1-bedroom flat for a month with that sort of cash, but you wouldn't have much left over for a few dodgy photos. It's also been alleged that Hugh has committed other heinous crimes, such as breaking lockdown and messaging 17-year-old lads on Instagram. Now this is obviously disgusting. What is a man of his age doing on Instagram? There's a place for perverts like you, mate, and it's called Facebook. Never ever trust a middle-aged man who uses Instagram. It's not natural. You don't belong there. That's like me turning up on Love Island in a pair of Speedos gut out with a couple of matching nipple rings. Just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it should be allowed. Follow me at Francis J. Foster. I'm one of the good guys. Before we found out Hugh Edwards was the presenter in question, Gary Lineker, Jeremy Vine and others came out to make it clear it wasn't them. That's how bad a track record the BBC has when it comes to noncing. Presenters have to come out and announce individually that they're not into kids. You don't get that in any other profession. Teachers don't pull you aside before parents' evening and go, "Just so you know, Mr. Brown, your kids are completely safe with me, if you know what I mean. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Anyway, your daughter's failed her maths exam. We're all just glad that it isn't David Attenborough. I don't think I'd be able to recover if I found out that he had inappropriate relations with an underage penguin." Imagine watching his documentaries, looking at the animals, thinking that any one of them could have been his victim. Just staring at a ceiling thinking to yourself, yeah, I know why he's got sad eyes. Terrible. The BBC are the institution that gave us Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris, Stuart Hall, Tim Westwood, and now Hugh Edwards. My point is that just because an institution is left-wing and publicly funded doesn't mean it can't bring through top-tier talent. The news has made the British public deliriously happy. We love nothing more than a celebrity sex scandal, and this one had the added bonus of a few glorious days of having to guess who the person was. It's been a fun week for all the family, and ironically, one of the few successful pieces of content the BBC has produced in recent years. Now that he's been outed, the liberal intelligentsia are rallying around Hugh, saying that this is a personal matter and it's no one else's business. If Nigel Farage was outed as a nonce, you'd hear multiple orgasms out of every house in Islington. Garden parties would be held in celebration, and it would be used as a reason to reverse Brexit. Billy Bragg would be on the streets with a placard saying, "Not all Brexiteers are pedos, but all pedos voted Brexit." There'd be a trending hashtag on Twitter saying "nonces for Brexit" and hashtag "only sex offenders want to leave the customs union." Us Brits are only allowed to hate two types of individuals: nonces and successful people. If someone is successful and an alleged nonce, that is the sweet spot. It's at that moment all men can take part in our favourite pastime of leaning back on the sofa, looking smugly at the person next to you and going, "I told you he was a wrong un. Didn't I tell you there was something dodgy about him? I can spot it a mile off. It's in the eyes, like little raisins stuck in his head." Hugh has brought the nation together after the divisions of Brexit, Trump and COVID. We can all talk about it, have a bit of banter and forget for a few minutes that our country is going down the toilet. As a great man once said, what he did was unwise, but not illegal. Oh, and by the way, that sound you can hear is Philip Schofield breathing a sigh of relief.